Hello, 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 and welcome back to Talking to Tequila with Chloe. That's me, Chloe. Oh my God, did you hear my voice quiver in that? That's me. Welcome to the week. It's Wednesday. Stay strong, ladies and guys. I don't know how many guys listen, but hey. Thank you guys. Hi, welcome to another fabulous week of Talking to Tequila with Chloe. Now, I will say that this is going to be a little bit of a different episode because I decided that I was going to play a little loose and fast. I wanted to make my outline a little bit less structured, a little bit more fluid, like a waterfall. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Listen to Coquito a la patata pratata. Exciting news. I started to do rough designs of stickers. That's right. I want to get into the merch game. I don't know why. I am, if anything, but a real staple in the influencer community. Some may say I barely even exist there. Some may say I put blood, sweat, and tears into this. For what? For what? A slay audience, that's what. Hi guys, love you, see you every day. Please don't change your profile pictures. That's how I recognize you, okay? Okay, now I'm feeling a little kooky crazy. I had some coffee, I had an Alani, and I had about 25 minutes to really stew on the All's Fair movie, TV show trailer that just dropped. So we will be getting into that. We have a weekly catch up. We have some tequila time. We have a chic c'est la vie. Ça va, ça va. Chic c'est la vie. Ça va, ça va. And I can't wait to get into it with you guys. Now, first and foremost, I do want to say that I thought it would be really fun to talk about my first job ever. Okay? And I don't know why I thought that would be fun to talk about. Maybe because I was racking my brain for what else to talk about this week. I started to ponder, you guys let me know. Do you want an in-depth, I don't want to just use this as a trauma dump nation, but someone had asked me if I could give them more details on my OCD journey. If you want to, I can. I do feel like that would be a little me, blah, blah, blah. Even though I do, why am I acting like such a brat right now? Okay, let me just try to relax. Okay. Do I need a beta blocker? I'm not sure. It's because instinctively what I want to do right now is be a crazed woman on here. I just want to come on and scream about some things going on in the United States of America right now, but I'm trying to be composed, and in turn that's making me not be myself. So let me just clock into being myself for a second. Okay. Hi, I'm here for work. Okay, clock in. Chloe's here now. Hi. Okay, let me be normal. I wanted to talk about work because I feel that being a working woman is one of the hallmarks of being sane and having a good personality. And what do I mean by that? I say all the time that one of the reasons I'm so happy I grew up not rich is because it allowed me to actually grow a personality. It allowed me to have really strong relationships with people in my life. And it gave me a foundation of, I feel like, appreciation, okay? So here's what I mean. When I was 15 years old, I got my first job ever. I got it at a little Italian restaurant in Pittsburgh. And it was the least professional place I have ever worked. I showed up every day in a sundress and flip-flops. No one told me I was not supposed to be wearing that. I was the dishwasher. So I would get off of school in my cute little sundress with my cute little flip-flops, and I would walk into this Italian restaurant, and it was slow. It was, honey, we didn't have any business, okay? And I would sit there in the kitchen with the two cooks, and then there was a server that was always there. and we would just bullshit. I mean, I was 15 years old talking to these 25-year-olds. I mean, I was learning about life, okay? We would eat the meatballs, we would have a little pasta, and then, of course, because it was an extremely unprofessional place, the only break you got was if you smoked. So you could go outside and do a smoke break. So I was 15 years old. I didn't smoke, right? But I would go out with the other employees and I would just hold a cigarette in my hand, in my little sundress, in my flip-flops. And then I would go back in and wash like the one plate that would come through. Okay. And I would be sitting there with my little cigarette and I would be so scared that my dad was going to drive by. And because we just like smoked on the sidewalk and it was the same town that I lived in. And I was just like, this is fucking crazy. But that's the thing about it is like at 15 years old, I was learning the ways of the world. Okay. And we had this other, he was the owner and he used to come in every once in a while and cook in the kitchen, like on a Friday or Saturday night when things were actually a little busy. And he used to saute the pan, and we had a dish that had like spinach and beans and banana peppers, and sometimes the things would like pop in the pan a little bit, like the cherry tomatoes would open up and bust open. And he used to how do you call it? Shake the spatula pan, and he'd go, pop in that pussy, pop in that pussy. Isn't that fucking crazy? And I was 15, like, what the hell's going on here? And so one day we all came into work. Well, we all got there for work and the door was locked. And I was like, well, what are we going to do? The door's locked. And we all sat out there for like an hour. We were all calling the manager. We were all calling the boss. And finally, the manager called us back. She's like, yeah, the restaurant's closed. We're out of business. I was like, not even a warning? Not even a Vita Zen? And he owed me a paycheck. And you know what? He never gave me that paycheck. And 5 years later, I was really hard up on money. And I looked him up through Google and I found his phone number and I called him and I asked for my paycheck. And guess what? He still didn't give it to me. Criminal. Okay. So then I got a job at Brugger's Bagels. And I really lived the good life there for a few years. But we'll talk about Brugger's another time. Okay. So I do think that started my trajectory of several jobs in a row in the restaurant industry. And you do not forge relationships in any other life like you do in the restaurant industry. You guys are in the trenches on a Saturday night, on a Friday night. You're in hell, honey. You guys, you're getting double sat. The kitchen's yelling. They're yelling for runners. They're yelling. They're waving the kitchen. You guys are sweating. You haven't ate. But let me tell you something. You and your girlfriends, you're passing each other like bitch. You know, it's like, or you form friendships that you rely on each other like, girl, please see if my spinach dip is up and I gotta get drinks from the bar. And then your friend's like, I'll see if your spinach dip's up. See if my drinks are ready for 16. Run mine while you run yours. And you guys just bond. You're in the trenches. You learn accountability. You learn, time management. You learn multitasking. You learn sacrifice. You learn loyalty. And then after you guys have been through hell and back on a Friday night, you all rendezvous at the bar next door. You freaking rendezvous, honey, and you spend every single cent you have that you just made kikiing the night away till 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning with your friends late night having fun. There is nothing better in life than a mid-20s serving job. If you have children right now, please, I'm telling you, it will give them the best years of their life. The best years of their life. Okay. Now, what did I do this week? Really nothing except one thing that I feel like we need to kind of shed light on. And that is the fact that I went to the mall, not once, not twice, but thrice. Now, one time it was just to return something, okay? One time was just window shopping. And one time I bought some clothes from American Eagle. But this is what I want to say. I was in Annapolis. I didn't know how to spend my day. I had the option to go to Georgetown, which was an hour away. I was contemplating that. Do I want to go all the way to Georgetown on my day off? That's a 2-hour drive. 1 hour there, 1 hour back. And I thought, am I going to get all the way to Georgetown just for it to be like Annapolis, which is sleepy and boring? And I couldn't, I really was not in for that kind of emotional whiplash. Okay. So I'm like, how should I spend my day? How should I spend my day? And then I thought, you know what? Let me hit up the Annapolis Mall. And I went to California Pizza Kitchen, which I had only ever been to once before. And, but I just thought, you know what? I normally go to these like really curated restaurants and, spend a little bit more money than I should. Like, let me hit up a kind of chain restaurant and see what that does for me. I went to California Pizza Kitchen. Now, I will say, will I be going back anytime soon? No. The chicken lettuce wraps were great. The pot stickers were pretty damn good. The martini was nice and good and sugary. But at the same time, nothing blew my back out like how a curated menu does at a normal, like, kind of chef-owned restaurant. But after I went to California Pizza Kitchen, I was like, it was hot that day. I'm like, let me walk around the mall. And I kind of realized in that moment, just like how I'm having a renaissance with the movie theater, I'm having a renaissance with a mall, because one of the reasons I didn't go to Georgetown is because, like, I have like the smallest bladder in the world. I have to pee actually every 5 seconds. Like, it's kind of annoying. Like, I feel like I just am always having this slight anxiety of like, well, what if I'm in the thick of things and like I have to pee somewhere? Like, what am I going to do? In a mall, it's air conditioned on a hot day. You can window shop. You can get a drink anywhere. Like, all of a sudden I'm thirsty, I can get a drink at any little Auntie Anne's sitting around the mall kiosks. And then there's just restroom after restroom after restroom after restroom. I mean, I had a completely worry-free afternoon. My only issue with spending the afternoon in the mall was I'm obviously trying not to spend money. I had to practice extreme restraint. Now, luckily, I went to 2 separate places, Zara and Francesca's, and tried on clothes, all of which, every single thing, all of which looked horrible on me. I couldn't have looked uglier if I tried. I've lost 141 pounds. And, I think I'm like this hot young thing now, like, look at my outfit, denim on denim. Okay. I think I'm this hot young thing. Oh, honey, when I was in Zara, I was picking out the skimpiest clothes. I'm like, oh, this little negligee top. Let me try it on. Honey, I was trying it on like in shock of how I was looking. I mean, I was looking at myself it was a horror scene that was happening. I think I recorded a video in the Zara dressing room that I'm going to post. I had a news flash that although I've lost 141 pounds, I am still an apple body bitch at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Like, arms are out, honey. Like, the lace can only cover so much flappage. Do you know what I mean? But it was good. It's good to be humbled every once in a while, because otherwise your head gets too big. Now, I'm just letting you know that if you want to start to try to have a little bit of joy, if you want to start to try to live a little bit of life, I would recommend working in a restaurant or going to the mall or going to a girls' night, all of which can help free up your spirit and soul. Now, let's get right into tequila time, because although I want to try to be this really demure, elevated woman who just is so lighthearted, there's some things I need to get off my chest, okay? I was perusing the internet before I started recording, trying to see what can I talk about today, because there is nothing in my life I want to talk. I have been left speechless by the country. I'm speechless. It is so hard for me to find stuff to talk about that is not just me being just disgruntled. Okay. I tried to start listening to The Majority Report with Sam Cedar. I thought he would help educate me. I thought listening to Sam Cedar was, I like his voice, I decided. So I thought I need to start listening to news shows to stay really informed so that I'm not just getting all my news online. I want to start kind of listening and really trying to understand the different layers of what's going on. Because although I read headlines and read articles and can kind of understand, there's a lot of layered things that I'm still trying to learn. Like, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a political commentator. I tried to listen to The Majority Report and I got through literally 30 minutes before I almost threw my phone against the wall. Like, I almost smashed my phone into 1,000 pieces when I was listening to The Majority Report. Because there is a clip that they played where JD Vance was talking about the reason they want to start bringing back American manufacturing is so kids don't go without medication. Like, what if your child needed a medication and we couldn't rely on having it? I almost exploded. Like, I was like, oh, okay. $41 billion worth of medical supplies and medication are imported into America every year. We have good relationships with other countries. We were part of things like the World Health Organization. Like, in no world was that going to be a risk until the administration came and scorched the relationship with most of the countries in this world. Like, you guys made the problem you were scared of happening. So I just couldn't, I literally was like, oh, great. Okay, so you want to be more self-sustainable. Wonderful. Okay, so how would we normally go about that? Slowly over time, building the infrastructure to support that. That's what we should do. And they went, no, fuck it. We'll just start fucking shit up now before we have any infrastructure in place. So needless to say, I don't know if I can educate myself through online or through a podcast or news. I don't know if I can do it. I think I just need to leave my podcasts to be more of like girl central with like a little sprinkle of politics. You know what I mean? But I don't know if I can listen to a full on politic podcast, which then made me think, what's my podcast? Am I helping girls or am I hurting girls? Because I'm using my podcast for escapism. And then I'm like this, hey, come to my podcast for escapism. The devil. I know some people say that they like it because it helps them feel like less alone. But at the same time, I'm like, honey, good God. I tried to listen to a political podcast. I lasted 30 minutes. No wonder my views aren't going up. Okay, now let's get into tequila time. Ratatalatata. Ratatatata. Hey, ratatalatata. Ratatalata. The new trailer just dropped for All's Fair, a Ryan Murphy production starring Kim Kardashian. Where do I start? Let's start with the non-political stuff. This TV show is going to be on Hulu this fall. It is starring Kim Kardashian, Naomi Watts, Niecy Nash Bates, Teyana Taylor, Sarah Paulson, and Glenn Close. So most of the women I just named are world-renowned, extremely talented actresses. And then Kim Kardashian. So from the trailer, Kim Kardashian looks like arguably the worst actress I have ever seen on the face of the earth. She actually ruins the trailer. Her absolutely expressionless face with her mouth moving, but the words that are coming out are barely matching the tone of the This is her. Who hurt you? And I'm like, whoa, what the hell just happened there? Her face didn't move. And I'm not saying that in a Botox and filler way, because I'm a huge fan of Botox. Load me up, honey. I'm saying it in a way that she cannot act at all. It's crazy that she has her own TV show. It's ludicrous. And I cannot believe in this poster, she is front and center. And then all these renowned actresses were able to stand behind her. I cannot believe, I don't know if it's ego, I don't know if it's self-respect. I think it's self-respect. I cannot believe these actresses had such low self-respect to stand behind Kim Kardashian in this photo op for the poster for All's Fair. It made my skin crawl. And you guys already know I'm a Kim Kardashian hater. I'm not going to rehash that. I already bitched it out last episode about it. But let's just get into it again, shall we? The reason I'm reigniting this is because the slogan for the trailer, what I gathered from the trailer, is the TV show is about high-powered women who have banded together, and they are there to represent and stand up for women against evil men. Okay? The main slogan of the show was women representing women. And the star of this show is arguably the least representative of women of all time. Now, I know you're going to go, I know, trust me, because when I'm saying it, I hate being the person that like somehow now can tie every single thing back to politics. I hate it. I want to flitz and flutz around like a little fairy, talking about nothing, making funny videos. I would love it. But unfortunately, my eyes have been opened. Hi, I've been rebirthed as a disgruntled woman. Sorry. I hate that I can tie everything back to politics, but at the end of the day, we're in actually unprecedented times. I understand that this is a fictional TV show. I understand that. I understand that it's crazy for me to take a fictional TV show with fictional characters and somehow say that they need to represent current real life issues happening in America. But again, we're in unprecedented times where a lot of what is happening actually does translate to real life, whether it be in a TV show or not. And the issue is they hired a woman who is not an actress. She actually was an influencer. She was a social media star. Her inception was being, she basically is the epitome of an influencer. She was an online personality who they made into an actress. I don't know who the hell made her into an actress. She's a horrible actress. So when you take an online, that would be like me starring in a TV show and like unironically saying like we should defend MAGA. Like unironically. And then you're like, well, wait a minute. I'm just confused because like her entire platform is like, well, I guess I'm kind of contradicting myself. Kim Kardashian's entire platform is not defending women, but she tries to act like it is. Like she tries to act like this, like, or does she even try? Maybe she doesn't even try. I mean, she tries to like stand up for prison reform and inmates, but like even that's a contradiction for her because she like rubs elbows with the billionaires who technically, I don't know if she rubs elbows with the billionaires that, help run private prisons. But see, I'm like kind of getting all tangled up in my thoughts right now, but you know what I mean. She tries to act like this girl that helps inmates, but she doesn't. She's just part of the billionaire cog, allegedly, in my opinion. I mean, she might technically help some prisoners, but she doesn't help the entire platform that stands on for-profit prison industry. So let me try to untangle myself from my thoughts. Untangle, untangle, untangle. I used a bad example with myself. But what I'm trying to say is when people say, well, it's a fictional TV show, so why should they be held to any standard? It's because they use an influencer. She's not an actress. People don't see her as an actress. They see her as Kim Kardashian on a TV show. And that's just the fact of the matter. And so when Kim Kardashian's on a TV show about women representing women, no one is buying it because she is not representative of women at all. She's like one of the worst faces for women in history. That's it. I worked myself out of my own puzzling conundrum. She is not an actress. She's Kim Kardashian playing a woman who represents women. And she does not. And it's also this TV show that's supposed to be these lawyer women banding together to fight the man. And she's like actively part of a group of people that is oppressing women right now. And if you say, well, what does that mean? Is that dramatic? This, that, and the other? Hello. I can't get into this I can't, there's so much about it. Yes, if there's I cannot believe I could cry. I really could cry. I cannot believe there is just another week passing that it's like my mind is so jumbled. I have so much going on in my mind. And there's another week passing where I can list 1,000 things going on right now where women, minorities, the at-risk, the impoverished are just constantly being attacked. And when people go what's the example? And not you guys, but what's the example? It's I have to go through the laundry list of things. I can't do it. You guys know what I mean. I shouldn't have to explain it. People want exact examples of how the administration is oppressing women. Are you serious? Do I actually have to go through it? A woman literally had just given birth in the hospital and ICE ripped her away from her child. I don't care if that woman was the most illegal immigrant of illegal immigrants. I don't care if she was the leader of illegal immigrants. ICE came into a hospital and took her away from her child. So yes, there is a war on women. I don't care if she was illegal or not. Thank God, because of online pressure, she's been released and is waiting for trial, released with her child. Thank God. But it's I just can't go through this every week. My mind, I will lose my mind. I will lose my mind. I actually started a podcast at the worst possible time. That every week I just want to bitch. And that's not fun, is it? It's not fun. And I dressed up nice because I was going to try to be fun and funny this episode. And I was going to do all these clips. And I was going to go, I need to look nice for all these clips I'm going to post on the internet. And now my whole podcast again will just be me bitching about the administration. And I'm supposed to offer a reprieve. Oh my God. Let me try to pivot a little bit. You know what I mean. Kim Kardashian starring in a show about women representing women, I don't give a fuck if it's fictional or not, is a joke and it's laughable. And Kim Kardashian is an embarrassment. Okay. I cannot believe. Do you understand that I would have done anything for Kim Kardashian 4 years ago. It's so crazy to me. It is so crazy to me how this administration has truly made me turn on and hate some of the most pivotal, influential people in my content consuming life. I mean, I had a list of people that I would have bought anything they sold. I would have promoted anything that they pushed. And now, I mean, I look at some people with an absolute disdain. Almost every single person in my life that I used to support, whether it be just following them, whether it be resharing their stuff, whether it be spending money on their merchandise, or whether it just be commenting on their stuff. I mean, I had seen the canceled tour before, with Tana and Brooke, before Brooke's, oh God, here's my puppies. See, they're mad at Brooke. Before Brooke's, like, Brooke, I know that there was the racist stuff that came out. I can't remember. Did she fat shame anyone? I think it was mainly just racism, of course. As all, white influencers do for some reason. I don't know why every fucking white influencer has to come out with, like, who normalized being racist? It's not normal. I don't understand why all these social media content creators that you follow, like, have that obligatory "I'm sorry for saying the N-word" phase of their career. I don't understand it. Who normalized it? It's not normal. Okay. So it's like all these women that I used to spend money on. I saw canceled, tour live, Trisha Paytas. I used to blast all her shit. Even my favorites, like I'm just so disappointed in the online climate that people are just so going on with business as per usual. It's so disappointing. It really is. And I understand that they don't want to risk their careers, but, like, there comes a point in time where you have to just, like, literally say what's right. And I do understand that Tana has, like, come out and said, like, she doesn't like Trump. Like, that's very easy to find those clips. But, like, I'm sorry, every single week there's bullshit coming out. And so, like, every single week you should be shouting from your social medias that this is not normal. It's not normal. These women are extremely influential, and they refused to be a voice during this time. It's just so frustrating. Like, even Stassi, who I would follow, like, have seen her live many times, have gone to her book signings, like, had this big referendum on, like, saying sorry for her behavior in the past. And now this shit is coming out, and it's, like, the time to be like, hey, remember how I said I learned? Like, this stuff is not normal. This stuff is microaggressions. This stuff is racism. This stuff is targeting minorities. And it's like nothing. Nothing. I get nothing. Not even a peep. There's, like, this many influencers that I follow that actively infrequently speak out against the administration. And that's literally, like, Taylor Strecker, Heather McMahon, and it's like there's like no other female influencers that I follow that are just constantly, like, speaking up for what's going on right now. And it's just crazy to me. All right, let's pivot. One of these days, maybe you guys should start running online betting. I'm, like, joking. I don't believe in online betting. But maybe one of you guys should do, like, an over-under. Like, will it be episode 40 where she doesn't bitch about this? Will it be episode 26? Will it be episode 46? Who knows? Over-under. And that's why I'll never make it. I've come to the realization I am nicheless and too politically disgruntled to ever be invited to anything. I'm like a liability. I'm a walking liability. And all I wanted to do was be an entertainer. And I can't shut my big fucking mouth about it. So sad, but it's okay. At least I'll have my conscience to live with. I won't have a dog rescue and rescue for and help the impoverished, because I'll never make it to be mega rich to help people, but at least I'll have my conscience. Okay. Now that we're nice and depressed and deep and down, did I say that? Oh, is that how the whole thing I got on a tangent? I need to start taking vitamins. My memory is just not okay. Did I mention I'm starting to design stickers? Did I mention that? Hello, where are we at? What? So I am not going to lie. I started this podcast twice already because the first time I told a story that I realized I am not okay with telling. And the second time, I don't know what happened, but I have started to dabble in sticker decoration because I want to get into the merch game. I don't think I'm cool enough, important enough, or sought after enough to like have clothing. But I will say I want to make stickers because I feel like that's a manageable merch product that I can make. So I started to design some stickers and I will hopefully have that for you guys soon because I think that would be fun and I think it's manageable. Okay. Next in tequila time. Does anyone know Khalyla Kuhn? She is Bobby Lee's ex girlfriend. She has Trash Tuesdays, which is a podcast. People are really mean to her online. They say a lot of lies about her, most of which aren't true. But she is pregnant. She announced on Mother's Day that she is having a freaking baby. And I'm so happy for her. Khalyla has been absent from the Tiger Belly podcast for months and months and months and months and months. I have not watched Tiger Belly in a long time, mainly I haven't watched Tiger Belly in a long time. One of the reasons being Khalyla hasn't been there because I feel like Khalyla is she's good on that podcast because she kind of checks Bobby, which I like. And she doesn't ever do it like in a mean way, but like Bobby will say something and she'll be like, Bobby, that didn't happen. Or I don't know if that's true, Bobby. Or hey, Bobby, you got to stop, you know? So she hasn't been on the show in forever and I've stopped watching because I do enjoy their dynamic together, and her missing from the show is to me like a big missing gap. Now she did have, I think, Bell's palsy. Half of her face was paralyzed from stress. And so that's why we all thought she wasn't on the show, because of her Bell's palsy. Well, turns out the picture she posted was just a shadow. And I mean, she has to be 7 or 8 or 9 months pregnant. I mean, she has a huge bump. So I'm really excited. She's wanted to be a mom for a long time. I'm really excited for her. So congratulations, Khalyla. I cannot wait to have more information on this. I know she's really quite private because the online has been so mean to her, but I'm happy for her. I'm ecstatic for her. Okay. Next, Real Housewives of New York City, the reboot has been put on ice. It is being taken off the air. They are not doing another season, and they hope to revive it soon. Now, there's not much to say about this other than there was the original Real Housewives of New York City. They ended up putting the kibosh on that, and they did an entirely new reboot, of which had really scathing reviews. It was quite boring. A lot of the women are very self-produced. There was no one particularly interesting on the show. There was no like matriarch of the show to anchor it and be the reason people showed up. Like there's always that person on the show. Teresa from New Jersey, Nene from Atlanta. Like there's always that person that kind of brings you in. They are the core. There was no core for the reboot of RHONY. And obviously they tried to make it work for a few seasons. People weren't coming. They said that they're hoping to revive it. I don't know how that's possible. So what? It would be the third revision of the show. Sometimes you just have to let sleeping dogs lie. You know what I mean? And with that being said, the 2025 BravoCon has been announced. It's going to be in Vegas again this year. The casting is very light on it. Honestly, there is like almost no one that was dropped this year that I want to see. And there's noticeably a huge group of people, of shows that are out this year. How they do BravoCon every year, if people don't know, Bravo TV started doing a con, like a Comic-Con, BravoCon, where they bring on a lot of their TV show castmates. They do panels, they do live shows, they do Q&As. But how it works is every other year, there's always an influx. There's always a group of shows that are actively casting. So that group of shows isn't part of that BravoCon at that time, because then it would be spoilers of who's coming back and who's not coming back. This year is the year where like all the good shows are being cast, like Southern Charm. I believe Vanderpump is gone now. A lot of the good Real Housewives, like all those shows are like in an influx in casting. So the group of cast right now, it's just like so, I would not go this year. There was like not one person I saw that I was like, oh, I want to see them. I was like, whoa, this is slim pickings. Now I know that story was really light. I'm not going to lie to you, you guys, this I'm on the struggle bus. I'm not going to lie to you. I was trying to find things that I cared to talk about, and I just don't care about anything right now. Can we talk about that? I feel like people's anxiety is at an all-time high. I feel like people are really trying to search to care about things in pop culture, but it is extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult. I feel like I'm going to start a list of words that never in my life I want to hear again. Tariffs. I never want to hear tariffs again. It is like, I never want to hear Doge again. I never want to hear about efficiency again. I never want to hear I search every day to try to give a shit about things that I don't give a shit about. I do not care about anything other than I feel like I can't plan for anything. I feel like everything is at an influx. I feel like I want to come on here and be like, oh, bravo. Ah. But like simultaneously, things are happening every day with the administration that is just so blatantly horrifying and scary, And it's like, I'm having to like learn these things. Like they're like, I'm going to say this wrong. Like they're talking about suspending habeas corpus I don't even know what the fuck that is. But it has to do with like, we are supposed to use it because it is important for the government. And Trump's like, oh, well, that actually is not letting me just become an evil ruling dictator. So I think we might suspend it. And I'm like, oh, okay, but BravoCon. But in real life, I'm Googling habeas corpus. Am I even saying it right? Because I'm like, and I guess shame on me for not, I guess, being a political genius before this. I don't know. I didn't know I was going to need to know everything about the Constitution and law and habeas corpus and the freedom of the press. I didn't know that. I was a server who turned into a nurse. I didn't know I was going to need to know the American Constitution and legal system. to try to understand how fucked we are. You know? Someone messaged me the other day. They said, "Girl, are you okay? Who's this guy under my comment?" And I look, a girl I follow, another influencer, Taylor, who I really like. She has blonde hair. She does OOTDs. She had commented on one of my pictures like, "Oh, you're gorgeous." And, there's a bunch of MAGA people under it like, "No, she's like a ugly, dumb bitch." And Taylor's like, "Who is this guy saying this to you?" I said, "Honey, don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about it. It's just, I just cannot shut my mouth. And it is just a MAGA man after MAGA man with a few sprinkled in MAGA women who just are like, love what's going on right now. And they hate me and it's fine. But it's like, oh my God, dude. It's just, I'm trying to search for things. I think I might have to start talking about myself more. I'm running through it with you guys right now, or I think I might start having to have guests on all the time. Because if it's just left up to my own devices, it's like, now, did I really care about Khalyla being pregnant? Absolutely. Did I really want to talk about Kim Kardashian in the All's Fair trailer? Absolutely. The Bravo stuff, I'm just trying. I use it as escapism, but I just try to care about it and talk about it on here. But my mind right now is like, I'm talking to you, but my mind's going, habeas corpus, refugees, South Africa. Like, it's like, but I feel like you guys don't want to talk about that because this is supposed to be a escape. But at the same time, the world's on fire. I mean, literally. I feel like there is such unrest going on right now. In America, there's unrest going on. Of course, the Gaza Strip, Palestine, like is just. I mean, I just looked up photos the other day. It's just leveled. They just destroyed it. 50%. Let me collect myself. 50% of Palestinians are under the age of 18. And they just leveled it. And I understand that there's a lot of layers to that conversation. But it's just like the whole world. India's bombing Pakistan. Pakistan's retaliating. It's like, oh my God. It's overwhelming, right? Okay. I really was trying to have this be an escape. I swear to God. All right, that's the last sip. I was trying to swallow my cry. It's hard to tell if things are at a true all-time chaos or if I really was just a dumb girl who didn't understand how fucked up the world is. What do you guys think? That's a good, that is a good question. I feel like that's a good conversation point. Of course, the world's always fucked up, right? I mean, the world is always cruel, but doesn't it kind of feel like it's reaching like a boiling point? And it's like, I'm not religious at all, but I almost feel like it's like that the conversations of those old stories where it's like the world became so corrupt, like, the whole world flooded and Noah had to build his ark or whatever. Like, I, I feel like it's coming to a point where I'm gonna use a sock to dry my tears. Oh my god, I cannot believe this is like a total therapy session right now. Maybe my sister's right. Maybe I do need therapy so I can spare you guys. Okay. One of the things that scares me the most about what's going on right now is I just don't see how we get out of it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, spoiler alert, in The Last of Us with Pedro Pascal, spoiler alert, in episode 2, season 2, he's getting beat up so bad by the ex-Fireflies. And he's getting beat up, like beat to a pulp. He gets shot in the knee with a shotgun. And you're like, how is he going to get out of this? Like, as he's getting beat up, there's another scene happening where, like, the zombies are coming. They're all running. And you're just like, the storm's coming. The zombies are coming. He's getting beat up. He gets shot in the knee. And you're like, how's he going to get out of this? Because he's getting beat up so bad. How could he escape? He can't even walk. And then they kill him. They stab him in the neck with an ice pick. And then you're like, oh. Well, that's why it didn't matter that they shot him in the knee. Like, they didn't need him to be able to escape. They were going to kill him. Like, that's kind of how I feel right now. Like, there's so many, like, lifelong, like, generational long changes happening in the country. Like, the Supreme Court is going to be Republican heavy, even though they're supposed to be unbiased. They're going to be Republican heavy for decades. Women are going to not have access to abortion for decades. Women are going to go septic and die for decades. Because they gave the choice of abortion to the state. And states are being run on religion, not on law. They're making decisions for children and women based on religion, which is a total disservice to its citizens. And so people are like, we just have to get through this. And it's like, okay, so we either have to get through 4 years hopefully we just have to get through 4 years, but then it's like, then what? Like, then they reverse everything that Trump did, hopefully swiftly. But then what if the next one then what if another crazy Republican, I don't want to, I'm saying that in air quotes because Trump is not a Republican. He's an evil man. I believe other Republicans could be elected into office and not totally flip the country on its head. But I'm saying, like, what if another, quote, Republican is in office in 10 more, like, I feel like I've learned through all of this that it seems like extremely drastic. They made our government in a way that is supposed to be checks and balances. But if every single branch is Republican and they are so easily swayed into being evil, right? Because not everyone is like Trump, but every single Republican is voting in line with him in his evil, corrupt practices. They're pushing through right now to literally just and it bothers me when people want to get into the semantics. Like, they're trying to push through a bill that defunds Medicaid. And they're like, well, that's not what, you can't guarantee that's what they're going to do. Yes, I can. every single opportunity this administration has had, or the Republicans have had, to just act in the most evil, villainous way possible, they've done. So please don't say to me, well, it's just to reallocate funds. It doesn't mean they'll take it from Medicaid. Yes, they will. Every opportunity that they have available to be the absolute worst version of themselves, they have taken. So actually, yes, if it goes through, they actually will defund Medicaid. Stop giving these people the benefit of the doubt. And it's like, it just makes me wonder, so has this administration taught people that we are just going to oscillate between the most extremes, forever? And if everyone is so willing to just go with the evil way, like, what is the point of even having checks and balances in the government? If the Senate and the House and the presidency can all be one party's lead, and no one makes decisions based on what's true and real and right, and it's just based on what is going to advance them the most or keep them safe or whatever, then what the fuck is the point of even having it? Like, that's where I'm at when people are like, just get through the next 4 years. Really, it just seems like this has opened a can of worms of like letting people know you can actually just be cruel with like no repercussion at all. So I'm sorry. This was supposed to be fun, and it's not. I'm so sorry, guys. I tried my hardest. Maybe next week. I dressed up nice for what? Nothing. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cry on this. But I will say thank you for tuning in and listening every week. Thanks to the girls who DM me and say that the episode was great. I know that this one was rough. Luna's starting to get a little crazy. I think that's my time to go. I really don't mean to be depressed every week. Please forgive me. One of these days, I will be such a happy girl. Party time. Not today, but maybe one day. Okay, guys. Just get through the week. We're not going to do a Savah this week. We're just going to gracefully close out. Please like, rate, review, subscribe. Until next time. Bye.